All right, let's dive into something that's totally revolutionizing how we think about mental health. We're talking about the gut-brain connection. And trust me, this is a discovery that could change how you see, well, everything, from your mood to your memory.
You've had one, right? A gut feeling. That deep intuitive hunch that something's spot on, or maybe really, really wrong. But what if that's not just a cute saying? What if it's your gut literally sending a message straight to your brain?
Well, that's exactly what's happening. Science is showing us this incredible link. What goes on down in your gut has a direct line to your brain, your emotions, your whole mental state. It's so powerful that a lot of scientists are now calling the gut our second brain. And just how big is this connection? Well, it's pretty staggering. Get this, 95%. That's how much of your body's serotonin, the famous happy chemical, is actually made in your gut. Not your brain, your gut. So how on earth is that even possible?
Well, it all comes down to something we can think of as the gut-brain superhighway. It's this incredibly complex, non-stop communication network running right through your body 24/7.
The fancy scientific term is the gut-brain axis. And really, it's just a constant two-way conversation. Think of it like a biological superhighway where messages are zipping back and forth all the time. A huge amount of that traffic travels along something called the vagus nerve, which is basically a giant fiber optic cable connecting your gut directly to your brain.
And this is the really cool part. It's a two-way street. It's not just your brain barking orders down. Nope. The trillions of tiny microbes living in your gut are constantly sending signals up to the brain. The brain then processes all that info and sends its own instructions back down. It's this continuous, absolutely vital feedback loop.
So you gotta wonder, right? How can these tiny little microbes, our gut bacteria, send messages that are powerful enough to actually change how we feel? Well, let's dive in and take a closer look.
Okay, so your gut microbiome has three massive jobs when it comes to your brain. First, they're basically little chemical factories. They're pumping out critical stuff like serotonin to regulate your mood and GABA to keep you calm. Second, they're like the gatekeepers for inflammation. If your gut isn't happy, it can trigger these inflammatory signals that travel straight to the brain, and that's been strongly linked to things like depression. And third, they're crucial for absorbing the nutrients your brain is desperate for to function at its best.
So what happens when that communication system starts to break down? Well, the data is pretty clear. We see a direct link. Things like Irritable Bowel Syndrome, or IBS, are so often tied to anxiety and depression. We see the same pattern with inflammatory bowel disease. You just can't deny it. When the gut is in trouble, mental health often takes a hit. Okay, I know that can sound a little scary, but here's the really good news. This isn't out of your control. We can actually support this whole system. So let's open up the Gut Health Toolkit and look at some proven strategies for a healthier mind. It really comes down to four main pillars. First up, your diet. We're talking fiber, fermented foods, stuff that nourishes your good gut bacteria. You're basically feeding your tiny allies. Second is exercise. Getting moving actually boosts the diversity of your gut microbes, and that is a huge sign of good gut health. Third, managing stress. Things like mindfulness can literally lower the stress hormones that inflame your gut. And last but not least, targeted supplements like probiotics can help give your gut's microbial team some much-needed backup. And hey, let's quickly clear something up. Probiotics versus prebiotics is super simple. Think of probiotics as the seeds. They're the actual live, good bacteria. Prebiotics, on the other hand, are the fertilizer. They're the food that helps those good bacteria grow and thrive. Think garlic, onions, bananas. The bottom line, you really need both for a healthy gut.
And just so we're clear, this isn't some wellness fad. This is backed by real science. Check this out. It's from a clinical study. People who took a specific probiotic didn't just say they felt better. Their bodies actually changed. They had measurably lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. That's a direct biological thumbs up.
So, what does all this research really point to? It's pointing to the future of wellness, really. A much more integrated approach, one that finally recognizes that you just can't separate mental health from physical health. They're totally connected.
Look, if you take away just one thing today, please let it be this. A healthy gut is not just about digestion. It's not just about bloating. It is absolutely fundamental to your mental and emotional well-being. It's that important. And of course, we have to say this. As powerful as this all is, everyone's body is different. So it's super important to talk to a healthcare professional to get advice that's tailored just for you before you start any new supplements or major changes. So that leaves us with one final big question to think about. As we keep uncovering just how much this tiny world inside us is running the show, you have to wonder, right? Could it be that a huge piece of the future of mental health has been hiding in plain sight this whole time?